In the bustling heart of New York City, where glass towers pierced the sky and the relentless pulse of ambition never ceased, there was a small, inconspicuous cafe named the Rusty Spoon. It wasn't the kind of place the wealthy frequented, nor was it popular among the tech elite who ruled the city's innovative frontier. Instead, the Rusty Spoon was a refuge for everyday people, waitresses with dreams, struggling artists, tired office workers, and students chasing scholarships. Among the staff was a young woman named Tasha Green. Tasha was 27 and sharp-witted. Her skin was a deep, radiant ebony that seemed to shimmer under the cafe's soft amber lighting. Life had dealt her some harsh cards, but she had an unyielding spirit and an insatiable hunger for learning, especially in the realm of technology. While working double shifts to support her younger brother and pay rent, she spent every free moment learning coding through online courses and late-night practice. Tasha was well known at the Rusty Spoon for her warm smile and quick humor. Also for the quiet fire she carried beneath her calm exterior. She had never let her circumstances define her, or had she ever stopped dreaming. Miles away in a sleek penthouse overlooking Central Park lived Alexander Pierce, a self-made billionaire, whose success was as legendary as his ruthlessness in business. Alexander was the CEO of Pierce Innovations, a company that had revolutionized the world of artificial intelligence. At 42, he was a single father to a 7-year-old daughter. At least since his wife's sudden death 3 years prior, Alexander's life had been a careful balance of corporate power and paternal responsibility. His reputation was intimidating. Employees feared his sharp mind and sharper tongue. The media portrayed him as the archetype of cold, calculating wealth. But those closest to him knew a different truth, a man worn thin by grief, desperate to hold together the fragile pieces of his life, especially when it came to Lily. One rainy afternoon, Alexander found himself in the Rusty Spoon, a last-minute retreat from the relentless pressure of a failing product launch. His newest project, an AI-driven childcare assistant designed to help parents manage their busy lives, had hit a wall. The code was buggy, and the programmers couldn't isolate the problem. Frustrated and desperate, Alexander sat alone at a corner table, laptop open and coffee growing cold. His fingers tapped furiously on the keyboard, but no breakthrough came. It was then that Tasha noticed him, the impeccably dressed man, eyes bloodshot from exhaustion, surrounded by an aura of tension. Curiosity got the better of her. She approached his table gently, carrying his order of black coffee with a hopeful smile. "Looks like you've been here a while," she said softly. Alexander glanced up, startled by the unexpected interruption. "Yes," he said shortly. "I'm trying to fix this code, but it's complicated." Tasha nodded, intrigued. "I'm learning to code myself," she admitted. "Maybe I can take a look." He hesitated. Pride and habit urged him to decline, but something in her earnest expression made him reconsider. "All right," he said finally, sliding the laptop across the table. What happened next changed both their lives forever. Tasha's fingers danced over the keyboard with practiced ease. She quickly identified a subtle flaw in the AI's algorithm, a miscommunication between the machine learning modules that no one had spotted. Alexander watched, astonished at her precision and understanding. "It's a minor fix," she explained, "but it should stabilize the system." Together, they worked through the afternoon, debugging lines of code and running tests. As the rain pounded the windows outside, quiet camaraderie blossomed between the unlikely pair. The billionaire grappling with grief and pressure, and the waitress with big dreams and a brilliant mind. By evening, the AI assistant was functioning flawlessly. Alexander was stunned. He wanted to offer her money or a job on the spot, but Tasha declined, her eyes shining with pride. "I'm not looking for charity," she said firmly. "Just a chance." Over the next few weeks, Alexander found himself returning to the Rusty Spoon. Each visit, he learned more about Tasha's world, her struggles balancing work and family, her dreams of becoming a software engineer, and the barriers she faced. Despite their vastly different lives, an unspoken connection grew. Alexander admired her resilience, and Tasha saw beyond his intimidating exterior to the vulnerable father trying to do right by his daughter. One evening, Alexander invited Tasha to Pierce Innovations. He wanted her to see the possibilities too. Understand that her talent could take her places she had never imagined. The office was dazzling, glass walls, futuristic tech, a hum of innovation. Tasha's eyes widened in wonder and nervous excitement. Alexander offered her an internship, paid and flexible, so she could continue supporting her family while gaining invaluable experience. Tasha accepted. And soon she was spending her days coding alongside some of the brightest minds in tech. But with opportunity came new challenges: office politics, imposter syndrome, and the weight of expectations. Meanwhile, Alexander's world started to tilt in unexpected ways. His growing friendship with Tasha was no secret. Some in his circle viewed her as a mere waitress, unworthy of his time or attention. Whispers began about the CEO's strange new companion, and Alexander found himself torn between the image he'd cultivated and the genuine connection he felt at home. Lily adored Tasha. The little girl saw in her a kind, playful presence that brought laughter back into their penthouse. Tasha's warmth was a balm for Alexander's guarded heart. But the media caught wind of the unusual relationship and began to speculate, turning a personal story into a public spectacle. One day, a rival tech mogul leaked a story about Alexander's secret project involving a waitress turned coder. Framing it as a PR stunt to soften his image amid criticism of his aggressive business tactics, the backlash was swift and vicious. Investors questioned Alexander's judgment. Social media exploded with insults directed at Tasha, undermining her credibility and making her a target of discrimination. The pressure mounted, threatening to unravel the fragile trust they had built. Yet, it was in this storm that Alexander and Tasha's bond proved unbreakable. Alexander publicly defended Tasha, exposing the malicious intent behind the leaks and praising her talent and character. His words resonated deeply, shifting public opinion. Tasha, bolstered by Alexander's support and her own unshakable confidence, faced the attacks head-on. She spoke at tech conferences, shared her story, and became an advocate for diversity and inclusion in the tech industry. In time, scandal faded, replaced by admiration for the unlikely partnership that had changed the face of innovation. Together, Alexander and Tasha launched a new initiative at Pierce Innovations, a scholarship and mentorship program for aspiring coders from underrepresented backgrounds, aimed at breaking barriers and nurturing talent regardless of origin. Lily, their bright-eyed beacon, became the face of the campaign, symbolizing hope for a future where anyone's dreams could take flight. Years later, Tasha stood on the stage of a major tech summit, now a respected engineer and entrepreneur. She spoke not only of code and innovation, but of resilience, courage, and the power of unlikely alliances. Alexander watched proudly from the audience, their worlds forever changed by a chance encounter in a small cafe. What started as a moment of kindness had grown into a story of transformation for a waitress, a billionaire, and a little girl whose lives intertwined to challenge norms and rewrite destinies.